This message is just for you. You are good enough. This is the episode for you. This is a message that I so wish that I'd been told so much sooner. And that is, it's okay to learn from experience. In fact, it's not just okay, it's 100% necessary. Now, I know a lot of us around here are definitely over-researchers and over-planners, and we want to have every tiny detail mapped out before we start. And I wonder if that's because a lot of us are actually doing that as a way of resisting learning from experience. Because I know for a lot of us growing up, people might have talked about learning from experience, but what was rewarded was getting it right the first time. It was getting 10 out of 10 or 100% or a gold star. And because learning from experience meant that what we did first wasn't optimal. There was room for improvement, a phrase that brings so many of us out in cold sweats. There were changes to be made. And so we decided it wasn't good enough. And you know, that does make sense. Of course, we don't want to waste our own time. We don't want to do things that we're going to have to redo later. And we don't want to look back with regret or even worse, embarrassment or a need to apologize for our earlier efforts. Except that we're lying to ourselves by telling ourselves we have a choice. When it comes to carving our own path, when it comes to language learning, no amount of reading or researching or planning means that we get to start at perfect. You cannot use more research to catapult yourself over this stage of separating theory from practice, or separating reviews from reality, and figuring out what actually works for you. And the funny thing about mistakes in the language learning world is that quite often they end up being more detours than mistakes anyway. Things that you end up regretting, thinking you've massively slowed yourself down or that you've wasted your time or your money on, might well turn out to be really useful down the line. And things that don't work for you now, if a few circumstances change, it might be worth having them in the back of your mind and revisiting them later. So this week, make a promise to yourself to just give yourself permission to get going, to get doing. You are not setting yourself up to fail by starting earlier and doing earlier. You're giving yourself the chance to try things out, to overlay different habits and systems and apps onto your own life, and to see for yourself what aligns with your daily routine and your personality and what doesn't. Remember, you do not have to aim for perfect. Every tiny step that you get, every tiny thing that you learn, every tiny thing you achieve, even if it was in the least optimal way possible, it really does matter. It's still taking you towards your goal, and you're going to learn so many invaluable lessons along the way. So don't worry about it and keep going. And if you'd like to support my work and meet some of the most wonderful, creative, multi-passionate and mission-driven language learners along the way, I would love to invite you to check out my Patreon community. You'll find a monthly meetup to get together with like-minded language learners online and talk about all the things that make up your language learning journey. I also offer co-working and co-studying every week so that you don't have to do this alone. And there's also an opportunity to get personalised advice from me in my monthly Q&A. Our next All Together meetup is the 25th of June, that is next Tuesday, and I would love to see you there. Good luck today, language learners. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you back here tomorrow.